What's happening, people? Liverpool Prophet back again with another video. What can I say, man? Just trying to get on with things as hard as they may be, but we're here. Again, there's not much really in the market at the moment that's going on. Like I said, we're gonna need the time to grieve in that at least a week or so. So there's not much. So all I can really do is speculate. There's a bit about how the Darwin Nunez sale could potentially fund the Isak transfer. I'll touch on that. Touch on the Diaz rumours potentially maybe not being real. They could be fake. I don't know if I believe if they're genuine or not yet. And I wanted to touch a bit on Konate as well. A bit on the Konate situation and Rodrigo as well. A potential Rodrigo to Liverpool transfer. So yeah. So where to begin? I guess we'll start with the Konate situation now. I saw a quote on social media yesterday that said if Konate ever left Liverpool, it would be for Real Madrid. Now, with his contract running out and with Real Madrid being the only club that are really interested, I did see interest from Paris Saint-Germain, but that seems to have just disappeared now. So it looks like he only wants a Real Madrid move. So if he's not going to sign a contract, which is kind of looking unlikely now, with all the stuff we've got to do in the transfer window, I don't see the club taking the time out to give Konate a new contract. So if he's not going to sign a new contract, I would probably be looking to sell this summer in the transfer window, like I said. But with what's happened, are we really going to be making loads and loads of sales? You know, it's crazy to think we're probably losing 10 players this window. 10. So I would be looking to sell Konate this window. At least we can get some money for him then, at least, rather than him going for free as well. So I hope the club made the right decision on it, because it's not an easy saga on this one. I would have preferred to sell him to Paris Saint-Germain, but it looks like Paris Saint-Germain aren't really showing interest in him. It's only Real Madrid. So if he's not going to sign a contract, just sell, and then we can go get someone else in, hopefully. So look, I hope Konate stays. We need some good news at the moment with what's happened. So hopefully Konate extends. I need to say he stays, and I hope happy days. But it's looking unlikely at the moment. Very unlikely. Disappointing too, because I always liked Konate as a footballer, as a defender. Always thought he was underrated. So for him to leave now, won't be easy. But look, like I said, life goes on, doesn't it? So I guess we'll just have to put up with it. Rumours also came out that Rodrigo has rejected a move to the Saudi Pro League now. And that's understandable, because the Saudi Pro League really is only a league that you go to when you're in the later part of your career. A league you go to you know, kind of just finish off and just retire. Rodrigo obviously doesn't feel like he's ready to retire, and no, he's not. He's nowhere near ready to retire, in my opinion. He's a great footballer, so I'm not surprised at all that he's rejected the Saudi Pro League. Does this mean he's eyeing up a big move somewhere else? I'm not sure. I would expect him to leave Real Madrid though this summer, because he doesn't seem happy there, and he does look like he's being forced out. I said this yesterday. If we can get Rodrigo in, I will happily lose Luis Diaz. Happily, if we can get Rodrigo in, get Rodrigo on that left, I'll happily say goodbye to Luis Diaz. Good luck to Bayern Munich, but we've got a suitable replacement there. Like I said, I'm worried that I'm worried we sell Diaz, and the replacement is inadequate. People saying Anthony Gordon, not for me, really, no. I mean, replacing Luis Diaz with Anthony Gordon, is that a name that really strikes you with confidence? Does that really strike fear into other teams? I don't think so. So Anthony Gordon would be a no for me personally, but look, I can understand why Liverpool fans would want him. But for me, no, he's not as good as Diaz, so I think it would be a downgrade in my opinion, so I wouldn't want Gordon. But yeah, Rodrigo. If we can get Rodrigo, like I said, I'd be more than happy to move Luis Diaz onto another club, because it's like I've said, Rodrigo for me is probably a better player than Luis Diaz. He's definitely more clinical. He actually tries to shoot. Like I said, Diaz, for whatever reason, does not ever want to shoot. So, I think maybe bringing in Rodrigo, you'd have someone who's more clinical in front of goal, someone who's more willing to shoot. So, I'm happy with that. I'd be happy with him. But is it likely? Again, I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. I'm not seeing too much rumours anywhere on it. So I can't say how likely it is or how unlikely it is. But I'd love this to happen. I'd love for us to go out there and splash the money and go and get Rodrigo from Real Madrid. And I think that would make the fans happy. That way the fans would be happy also. Our other fans would be happy to maybe lose Luis Diaz because, like I said, I've said it a couple of times now. The replacement is there. It's a proper replacement, someone who can come in and arguably be better than Diaz, or if not as good. So I hope that there's some truth to it. I hope that him rejecting the Saudi Pro League means something. He was being linked with Chelsea a lot, but like I said, Chelsea don't really need wingers, do they? They need a striker. So not surprising, but the Chelsea rumours sort of died down the way they did. So I don't think he'll be going to Chelsea. So I don't see who he's really linked to in the Premier League. There's faint little rumours of Liverpool, but nothing major. Would he stay at Real Madrid? I don't think so. I think he wants game time, and I think he wants out there from there, and I think they're trying to force him out too. So I expect him to leave Real Madrid, but where does he go? That's the thing. I hope we can somehow end up landing him, but I'm not sure. I can't tell you how unlikely or likely it is, so it's better that I keep quiet on it until rumours properly surface. The final thing I wanted to touch on was a little Darwin, Nunez and Alexander Isak situation. Now, look, with the tragedy that has happened, we all need some positive news, and the Isak news looks positive again. From what I'm seeing, it looks like he is Liverpool's #1 target still. Nothing's changed there. We're still looking for a striker. It's now whether we're going to need to buy 2 strikers as well, or we're going to keep Darwin around. So I read that the Darwin Nunez transfer to Naples could potentially fund the 150 million Alexander Isak transfer. The money we get for Darwin could be used to invest into the Isak transfer. That's what I've read. I'm not sure how true it is, but from reports I'm seeing, it's a bit of a ploy from Liverpool to sell Darwin Nunez on still. Get a sufficient fee for Darwin and move him on to the Saudi Pro League, to the Serie A with Naples, and we then will be able to go get Alexander Isak. It's a bit of an unlikely situation because we're not going to get much for Darwin Nunez, considering how much we bought Darwin for from Benfica back in 2022. I don't expect us to get nowhere near as much as we had to pay for him because look, at the time he was a hot prospect in Europe. I can see why we signed him. He was wanted. Now, obviously with how his career's gone, he hasn't progressed. He's regressed actually. So I expect us to have to let him go for a significantly lower fee than what we bought him for. I think that's just what we're going to have to accept, unfortunately. But look, understandable because the guy, he hasn't progressed as a footballer. He's probably gotten worse. There's been no progress really. So to let him go for a lower fee, I'll take it as long as it's not too low. Like I said, we all need some positive news, and I don't want to really say it, but I could maybe see the owners going out there and bringing Isak in, just to get some sort of joy, some sort of vibrancy, some sort of, happiness back in the fan base, because we need something at the moment. We need something to get us up, get us going again. With what's happened, we've lost one of our own in a tragic incident. We need something that's going to uplift us, to get us back up on our feet going, to feel excited again, to feel happy again. And I mean, if the club would go out there and splash the money on Isak, I think that would be something that would maybe get us up and going again. So whatever the club do, I trust them to make the right decision, whether we get Isak or not. Because look, Ekitike is still there. But again, with Ekitike, for me, I can see another Darwin Nunez there where, he's a hot prospect, comes to the Premier League and he can't deal with it. And he ends up regressing. So whatever happens, I trust the club to make the right decision on it. So yeah, but yeah, guys, that's all there is really. There's not really much transfer talk, so I hope that was a good enough segment for you. I'm gonna head off now. Liverpool profit. Peace out. I'll speak to you guys very soon. Up the Reds. Let's go. Let's see what happens next.